My boyfriend romanticizes the hell out of me and believes I'm perfect. Male and female, both 26. I've always had a problem with praise and positivity directed towards myself in general, and it's something I work on in therapy. But I feel like my boyfriend of 8 months is in love with an idea of me, and thinks I'm perfect. No one is perfect. He doesn't get annoyed at anything I do, even when I'm purposely trying to be annoying. He's not someone who holds back his feelings or opinions, so I'd know it if he did. He's always saying how people dream up someone like me, and never find them. He always says that he could sit down and imagine his perfect partner, everything he'd want, and the image still wouldn't come close to me. He thinks I'm the most intelligent, beautiful person in the planet, and sometimes the way he looks at me scares me because, like I said, I'm not used to such high praise. Or feeling. He even thinks I'm funny. This scares me. It can't be real, and I feel like the honeymoon phase should have been over by now. I think he's going to wake up one day and all of a sudden see me without rose-colored glasses and get annoyed with everything I do until he dislikes me, and then breaks up with me. I need some advice. You should be talking to your therapist about why you think you are undeserving of love. It is possible he really just loves you a lot. I think the world of my girlfriend. My husband thinks I'm perfect. Yes, he knows I burp like a man, don't wear makeup, occasionally get a bit of beau, can't cook a steak, destroy the kitchen whenever I cook, have a slight obsession with paper and ink, etc., etc., etc. But he still thinks I'm perfect. It's called loving someone. I think he's perfect, too, despite his age, health issues, lack of teeth, his collection of clutter, etc., etc., etc. He's mine and I'm his. I've been in your position before. I was depressed and had major self-esteem issues. That honeymoon period lasted for 1.5 years for her before my realistic come down to earth attitude wore her down, and she never saw me in that same light again, ultimately driving her away because I was a killjoy to be around. My one advice for you is that your boyfriend will come down from his high at some point, and when that happens, don't be the reason why it came about prematurely. You may not believe you are at all the person he sees, and that's very okay. It should not burden you to be that idealized version, because the reality is that he likes you for who you are now, at a point in time where you aren't trying to be anyone else. Be yourself, because that's all he seems to want from you. He loves you. Appreciate that. You don't have to be a supermodel or never make mistakes to be perfect to him. He may see you have self-image issues and is trying to reassure you as well. While it may be hard and you don't believe what he says, try taking it at face value. Don't push him away or think there's a problem with him. At the very least, express how you feel about him back. It may not be the same as he does, but show him in the ways that you can. So there's a lot of comments about self-image, and I think that's a valid take. Maybe you have low self-esteem and it's hard to believe someone might think you're great. However, I have been in a relationship where the person liked the idea of me, having a girlfriend in general. They actually didn't care a lot about me and what I liked. They would do generic romantic gestures they would see on a rom-com without actually caring about who I was and what I would like. I'm not saying your situation is definitely this one, but it does happen. How do you feel about him? I had a girlfriend who idolized me and it made me less attracted to her. I would rather have a partner that can call me out on my bullshit when I'm doing something stupid rather than one that thinks everything I do is perfect. It sounds like you shouldn't be in a relationship with anybody until you've gotten past this self-image problem. I feel like that's how a partner usually feels about their partner. Yo. My wife is the same. Hates compliments. And she is my angel. She can hardly do anything wrong. Ask yourself this: do you try to be purposely annoying with your best friend? Your mom? Your grandma? Do you purposely try to draw negative emotions from them? Probably not. So why are you doing that to the man you're supposed to love and care for? This isn't me attacking you, this is something I've legit had to ask my wife. Do you talk to XYZ this way? So why are you talking to the person you're supposed to love above all like it? He just loves you, mate. My boyfriend and I have been together for almost 6 months, a bit shorter than your relationship but not by much. When I think of his flaws, only 1 or 2 really come to mind, and they're not even that bad. They're just little things like he's almost always late. He can really only think of 1 or 2 bad things about me, and he says they don't even really bother him. Obviously no one's perfect, but when you love someone enough, their bad qualities don't seem as bad compared all of their good qualities. I have self-esteem issues, so when my boyfriend started praising me like he does, it freaked me out a little bit, but over time I got used to it. How long has your boyfriend been doing this? Sounds like he is way more into you than you are into him. Ask him point blank if he's put you on a pedestal. If he admits that he has, admit that it's not fair for both of you because he is holding you to these standards that only he knows about, and when you break from his idea he will be upset and you will be hurt that he's upset with you for no reason. If he simply sees you differently than you see yourself, that's wonderful. Either way, see a therapist. Therapy has done wonders for my self-esteem issues. It can help you as well, if you're open to it. This is an article you would probably find insightful. I am 50+ years old. I met my wife at 28 and knew within a few weeks that she was the one. I would say I probably was like your BF. I choose to not argue with my wife, over 22 years married. Because why would I argue, make her sad? This is the person I want to spend my life with. This is the person I want our kids, 3 teens, to see me treat with respect and not treat her badly. I think your BF is choosing to see you as you are. He probably knows you have your quirks, and he chooses to love them too because they are what makes you special. This could be love bombing, a tool of the narcissists. You should Google DSM narcissistic personality disorder and answer the questions about him. Heart a psychiatric nurse. This has happened to me. It makes you feel like you aren't seen. I know many people say something like your situation is wonderful, and you should embrace it and love yourself, but I understand. You almost begin feeling lied to, and I personally began not to trust the person because he came across as delusional, which he was. I don't want to be put down, but the bubble of absolute perfection he placed me in was enough to drive a person mad. Be completely honest with him about how this is making you feel. That almost saved us, but he couldn't stop, even a year later. I left, I couldn't take it any longer. It was like talking to someone who had been brainwashed. Hopefully, everything works out for you. Talk to him. Make sure he's meaning you're nearly perfect for him and not just perfect. It's annoying and restrictive to be put on a pedestal. Yeah, talk to your therapist and then him. This has happened to me a lot. Then when I break under the pressure of being prefect, they want to back off or don't look at you the same. It's sad, they build you up and when you can't stand on the pedestal it's your fault. It's a red flag to be this into someone so early. You should look up love bombing just in case. Especially since you have low self-esteem which makes you desirable to abusers. Unpopular opinion, but maybe consider stepping back from the relationship. There's not enough info for me to know whether this is a healthy situation where he just really loves you or if it's actually bad. Really think, does he love you for who you are and want what's best for you? Or is he in love with who he thinks you are? Do you feel like he knows you? Remember, obsession isn't love and it is dangerous. Stop being hard on yourself. You might be exactly as he sees you. Or, he could be love bombing you. I'd talk to a therapist about this. My wife of 33 years is the most desirable, alluring creature to ever walk the earth. Just talking about her gives me butterflies. When I tell her she's the perfect woman, I mean it. She's my perfect woman, and no other women matter. You should probably stop trying to annoy him. I worry about the comment, even when I'm purposely trying to be annoying. Sounds a bit self-sabotaging, like you're trying to piss him off to get a reaction to confirm your suspicions that he doesn't actually think you're perfect. I think this is strange and unhealthy on your part if I'm being honest. Watch you don't push him away with your attitude and behavior because then I bet you'll turn around and say, I knew it, I knew you didn't really love me. I'm going to get downvoted to hell, but he sounds exhausting. He's always saying how people dream up someone like me, and never find them. He always says that he could sit down and imagine his perfect partner, everything he'd want, and the image still wouldn't come close to me. This definitely sounds like he has put you on some type of pedestal in his mind. You're a person, not a unicorn. I think your issues with praise and positivity and what he is doing are completely different things. I would recommend talking all this over with your therapist. But I think if you feel like he's in love with an idea of you rather than the actual person he most likely is. It's a very common symptom of someone that has low self-esteem to believe they are undeserving of love. Low self-esteem creates a self-fulfilling prophecy where you believe you don't deserve love on the inside, so you do things outwardly to prove that you attempt to annoy your so. Then, If your significant other acts in a less loving way in response, you do even more things to provoke him because your belief that you are unlovable is being solidified. This will constantly repeat with greater intensity until one day you will realize you sabotaged your self-opportunity with a great guy. Bottom line, you deserve love and this guy loves you. Believe in yourself. You got this. Keep going to therapy as others have said. But he should be in therapy as well. You're right that no one is perfect, and his belief that you are is unsustainable and a really impossible expectation and pressure to be placed on someone. He likely uses people's imperfections as justification to leave them to avoid being hurt himself. He needs to go to therapy to address the underlying trauma that causes him to have this all or nothing mindset because it's unsustainable. Also, don't purposely try to test him because that's unsustainable too. Definitely bring this up in some form of therapy. I think it needs to be addressed. You can always tell your boyfriend that you're uncomfortable with it. He doesn't need to fully understand it, though that helps, as long as he respects your wishes. I can relate to this post. My first ever boyfriend did this, and yes, I was annoying to him on purpose. I was a teenager then, and did not have the maturity or presence of mind to just say, "But do you see me as a person? The person I am, flaws and all. But you're both 26. You can have that conversation. Good luck." First of all, you have to stop playing games. Stop, as you put it, trying to be annoying. That's manipulative behavior. It's time to speak to a therapist about why your self-worth is so low. Is this you, Haley? This is what love is. Finding perfection in imperfection. That's called love, LMAO. Maybe he loves you and you just don't believe it can be true. You are awesome and deserve it. I suggest working on your self-esteem, maybe go to therapy. Maybe you are perfect to him. Take the praise and it sounds like he's in love and there's nothing wrong with that. If it don't work out, you gave him a bunch of good memories. I think you should read the book, Attached. Sounds like he falls under the secure attachment style and maybe you fall under anxious. If you've had shitty partners in the past that were avoidant, they would activate your anxious attachment system. When you meet someone who's secure, your mind automatically thinks something is wrong because you're so used to the latter. Cherish it and hold on tight. It sounds like he just really truly loves you. Dump him. Don't blame others for your own insecurities. You're not realistic, as you said in the comments. You clearly have self-esteem issues. If you don't want his love, don't waste his time and efforts and work on yourself before you get in another relationship. I love my GF. I know she's not perfect, but her imperfections are so insignificant compared to all the wonderful things she has, so in my eyes she's the best girl in the world and always will be. Maybe it's the same for him. Work and try to accept it, or let him go before you hurt him. He doesn't get annoyed at anything I do, even when I'm purposely trying to be annoying. Why do you sometimes try to purposely be annoying to him? I saw a quote a while back, "A perfect love of an imperfect person." This is that. He loves you, girl, and I feel the same way. My boyfriend will hold me and brush my hair away from my face even after I've stolen every blanket and pillow from him. Love is going to be love, and that's amazing you've found someone who sees you. Trust me, if he's the right one, he will understand if you bring this up. Much love, kiddo, it'll be okay. My boyfriend is like this and we've been together 10 years. Everything I do is amazing and he's the luckiest guy in the world apparently. I honestly still find myself thinking that he'll just get tired of me one day, but we own a house together so it would be difficult, lol. He never puts me down, never insults me, we talk through any issue. It's really nice to have a civil relationship and know my partner actually cares about me. Even if you aren't perfect in your eyes, you seem to be in his. If it really bothers you, I'd personally sit and talk to him about it and get that reassurance which is sounds like you want from him. I agree with the other people here saying it might be worth having therapy as to why you think you might not be deserving of love on his scale, which you 100% are. If someone loves you, he'll shower you with compliments and praise and there's nothing you can't do to annoy him or make him mad because he'll always see you, the person he loves. I suck at expressing myself but too long did not read. Is if he loves you and will do everything to let you know. This is some pretty self-sabotaging behavior. This guy loves everything about you but in your mind it's for the wrong reasons because how can anybody love you? You are so scared he's gonna leave you or deliberately pushing him away in some weird way to spare your feeling. I just wanna say you are deserving of love and being happy. It's funny because I was just watching an anime that had an argument play out with this sentiment. It really does just seem like he knows you have flaws, but your flaws and strengths are who you are and he loves you for who you are. You may have flaws, but who you are is what he considers perfect. It is not idealization. I'm the type that when I love wholeheartedly and completely, so I get your BF. He might completely in love with you, and most likely your faults don't bother him at all. And like me, I'm fully aware of my intended love faults, he's aware of yours too, and he's actually being honest when he says he doesn't care about your faults. I can understand this feeling. I used to feel this way a lot years ago. Sometimes it is true that partners over-romanticize and point you on a pedestal. It can be frustrating. But this is an insecurity issue. You are worthy of love. Unless the case is that you two have different loche languages and you don't need as much positive affirmation as he does. I think the same of my wife. I know logically it cannot be true. But I feel that way anyway. The honeymoon phase will end. That's when the work as a team phase begins. My honeymoon phase ended 10 years ago. Wife and I still adore each other. Maybe talk to your therapist about when it might be appropriate to go as a couple. Wow, normal posts on this: my husband raped, beat me IDK if that's okay. This one: my boyfriend loves me more than anything. Like, I think you probably just need to speak to somebody about why you think it's weird for people to love their partner like that. Enjoy it while it lasts.